How do I look? I look all right?
You look good.
All right. This is good. This is good. All right. Start the cameras.
All
All right. We're at the bitter end. It's Try Before We Die. It's regular episode night. I'm Colin.
I'm Malcolm. Evening all. It's good to be back here again. Yet another good episode coming our way, I'm sure.
Well, we hope.
Well,
I hope it's a good bottle of whiskey.
yeah, well, that's always the thing.
Yeah.
But I think, like I said,
Yeah.
I think I will be hard-pressed to find a bottle in here that we're not going to actually sort of enjoy.
We could put one in the count and we could pretty much guarantee
Yeah, I'm not going there.
We're not going to do that one?
I'm not going to do that.
We'll have to do an episode one day.
No, we don't.
Not even one? Not...
Well, if we do, I have a friend out in Chicago that would have to come in.
Okay. All right. So it's Try Before We Die.
It is Try Before We Die.
And so we, all the bottles that you can see right now haven't been opened. So we have a long way to go in this process, and there are plenty of bottles you can't see. So we got a lot of these to make.
Yeah, I think I would hesitate to say that we probably have like maybe 20 episodes total.
I think we're somewhere in that range between bonus and regular episodes.
Okay.
About 20 videos so far.
So 20, 300, yeah, there's like 200 plus.
Yeah, and the Whiskey Fairy came. Remember, we were at like a net zero
Yeah.
like recently. So
And there are a couple more whiskey extravaganzas that we will have to
there
go
will,
on.
yeah,
So,
there will be some boxes showing up at some point again, I'm sure.
So let's for a different approach today.
Yeah.
Let's dive right into it.
That's it. All right. I mean, we're ready to go over here.
We're ready to go. We'll do a
Yeah.
little bit more talking on the backside.
Yep.
But let's just get the number
Let's just
running.
get a bottle in front of us.
And let's put a bottle in. It
You
looks
ever
very
heard
bare
that
out
song? I'd rather have a bottle in front of me than a frontal lobotomy. Let's get a bottle in front
Let's
of
go to the
us.
bottle. And this is gonna be a straight up bottle. Obviously, we don't have any of the accoutrements. We don't have the chocolate
Yeah,
or the cheese.
we have just only ice.
Just ice. Just ice this time
Just
around.
only ice. All right, so I have to back out of that, and I'll hit generate.
Oh,
All
chef
right. Oh, this is excellent. This is excellent. For group member Flash, who recommended we have little note cards for what bottle we're at, and I don't have to count them all out. We're in luck, Flash, because it's bottle number 29, and it's right behind us.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. So, there's 11 bottles in a row. So that's 11. It's 11 times 2 now.
22.
22. 23, 24. This is for you, Flash. 23, 24, 25, 26. So it's going to be a Glenmorangie. 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
Oh.
Alright. So this is good. This is a bottle that has been tried before. This is also a bottle that is pretty darn hard to lay your hands on. So this is the Glenmorangie. And I don't know how to pronounce it. It's the Duthac. Duthac. Wasn't he like a gangster?
Hey, Lord.
It was the guy who didn't exercise enough. He didn't have a six pack. He only had a Duthac. So this is a Glenmorangie
Actually,
Duthac.
now I look at it, it's Duthac.
I think it's Duthac.
Okay.
Yeah. And this is part of their Legends release. So they have a Glenmorangie. If we just take a second and we'll just open up behind us again, is well known for their wide range of whiskeys. So this entire row are all Glenmorangies, and it even goes down into here for 6 more across into the next row. So and these aren't all of them. So Glenmorangie is well known for a variety of releases, and they'll do a private edition release series. They have their Legends release series as well as their standards, and my understanding, my guess, my belief, is the Legends series is, let's just see if we have another one. Yep. Is oftentimes the series that you're going to find exclusively at duty-free stores. So a little more difficult to come across at your regular whiskey shop. This particular bottle was brought to the bar by our friend and teammate,
Bob Noxious.
Who travels quite a bit for business, and he understands.
Supposedly.
Right, he travels quite a bit, I think, for something. And there's a standing order with him here at the bar for.
Actually, let's just. technically speaking, when he says there's a standing order, it basically goes for all his friends. There's a standing order if they happen to leave the country. Even if we go to Canada, there's a standing order.
Yeah.
Could you stop by the duty free and see if there's anything special that you can bring back to the bar?
Yeah, why not?
Exactly. That's why there's some 300 bottles here.
I mean, that's where this stuff grows, right? Not on trees, but
Correct.
at duty free.
Correct, at duty
Right.
free.
Duty free.
So, okay, so
Yep.
just to reel back, there was an episode we just did with Glenfiddich. And then that brought up a
Oh, we
conversation.
we took a look at the Snow Phoenix.
Correct.
A closer look, yes.
And that brought up a conversation about the types of taste that you get within a certain distillery. And we said we were going to touch on it in an episode later. So this is actually an open door for you to talk.
Okay. So what we were discussing when we reviewed the Snow Phoenix is the base spirit is very predictable at Glenfiddich, and from after the base spirit, which we generalized as being their 12-year-old, and then they recask, extend cask, and things along those lines. And so we have the additional flavors, but oftentimes you can pick up that original flavor as well. So Glenmorangie is also similar in the sense that they have a base spirit that they start from. And so what they have is they have their original series, which is their orange label 10-year-old. And the casking for the 10-year-old orange label is essentially half the whiskey is in second use barrel, and half the whiskey is in a first use barrel.
Now, explain first and second use.
So they'll get an American bourbon cask that's been used to hold American bourbon.
Yep.
And it will be used twice, right? So half the barrels are on the first fill,
Yep.
half the barrels are on their second fill, and that combination of aged whiskey in those barrels creates their original.
Okay.
So the second fill is imparting a little less flavor. The first fill is imparting a little more. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Right? And after the second fill, the barrels are discarded.
Okay.
Okay. So that's their base liquor. So oftentimes what we'll see is then Glenmorangie will do something with a sherry cask or a port cask or a Sauternes cask as a follow-up to that. And so the Duthac, again, should have an experience based on their original flavor and then what they've done to it additionally.
Okay.
Okay?
All right. Now that we're talking about this tasting,
Right.
let's crack this bottle open.
Well, I just want to take a look and see if it says anything.
All right. I don't see much on there.
Well, it says some stuff in a foreign language.
What, you mean that bar, the code bar?
mit Verbatsstoff.
Oh, it's like German.
It turns out that Bob Noxious often travels to Germany. So we know that this probably originated in a German airport. Look, they tell you to recycle,
Yeah.
don't drive, and don't when you're pregnant.
Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
No, you're absolutely right.
Right.
It does say that on that.
It's just all symbols, you know.
In German.
So what do they say here? Partly finished in, so they've taken their spirit and then they've put it as well into some virgin oak
Okay.
to just get some more of that woodiness. So
Yep.
we should be looking for some woodiness, perhaps a little less sweet there, a little more wood. And Pedro Jimenez. Now, I don't know what that is.
I have no idea what that is either.
But it's been finished in Pedro Jimenez, which must be some sort of liquor. Again with the small words.
Yeah, this is way too
A
small.
whiskey fit for a king. This expression honors the annual pilgrimage made by King James IV to the shrine of Saint Duthac.
How did you read all that?
I'm just making it up.
You are just making that up.
In Tain, Rome, to the Glenmorangie Distillery since 1841. Okay, so that last line was not as relevant. So this is homage to the shrine of Saint Duthac. Now, I'm not aware of Saint Duthac. It's not a saint that I'm familiar with. Some of you who know me are probably not surprised. It's a whiskey fit for a king. And Pedro Jimenez. I don't know what that is.
I have no idea what that means.
Yeah.
I mean, I would hesitate to say, hazard a guess that maybe that's freaking, maybe something to do with a sherry cask, maybe, or I'm not quite sure.
I tell you what, if you want to, I'm going to Google that, Pedro, and as soon as I get it in there, XIMENEZ, ENEZ. Oh, it's a wine.
Oh, so it's in a wine.
So we have a wine, so it's their base spirit finished with, and it looks to be a red, a sherry. So they make, So okay, so
Okay.
we have a some sort of a fancy sherry.
Yep. So that would say to me that this is going to be a little bit maybe on the sweet side.
And we can see the darkness, so I think that we're going to look for woody and sweet.
Yep,
And that virgin oak and that sherry.
And this is another one that, just to give you a quick, this is like a reddish golden color. If you can't see it from there, which I don't think you can, but it's definitely a reddish golden color. Very pretty.
So I'm going to, and one of the ways that we know right off the bat that this is a European bottling versus purchased in the States. This is a full liter. Right? Is that how that works? So a fifth here is 750 milliliters.
Correct.
And the European bottle is the 1,000, is the full liter.
You get your money's worth in Europe.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yes, thanks, Bob. Okay, so let's open it.
Yeah, go for it.
All right. It has been here for a couple of years, so we'll just quickly moisten up the cork, and just got one of these foil pull tabs. See if we can find it. There we go. All right. Won't try to trick you this time.
No. I know he did though.
Just went for it. Let's see if the cork's going to spin. Okay, we're going to get it. Here we go.
Oh, nice one.
Clean. There is that sweet cherry right there on the nose.
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can smell that right off the bat. So yes, very much a golden color.
Very much. Even with the small pour, it still has that real rich, deep color.
And this thing has got some legs.
Now, so they've let us know that this is 43%. So this, again, is a standard release in the sense that they are in control of the alcohol.
Oh, very sweet smelling.
Right. I mean, the cork really carried a lot of that as well. All right, let's see what we got. The Duthac, Glenmorangie, part of their Legends series.
That's got a bit of a kick to it. This is probably the first one I can say that on the back side of it, the front side is very, very quick. You catch some of the sweetness, and it may be the fact that I held it a little bit longer in my mouth and then brought it down, but you can feel like a medicinal backside. That's the way I'm going to approach this. My throat is, I wouldn't say on fire, but it's warm, but only here, not so much down in here.
I think I'm getting a little bit less of that. I think I'm experiencing the same sequence of events. You may have had a little bit more than me. I'm certainly getting the warming from about the Adam's apple down. It really does end quickly in the mouth.
Yep.
But it was sweet in the mouth.
Yes.
It was pretty darn sweet in the mouth. I'm not really picking up on that woodiness that I would have thought with the virgin oak. But I guess I might feel that makes sense because sherry is going to be, this Pedro Jimenez, is going to be a much more potent flavor.
Yes.
Than just that virgin oak.
No, and this you can definitely taste, like you said, the sweetness is there.
It's very present in the front.
And and again, we're in conversations we have, but it's very abrupt. Like it's you can taste it, and then it's like literally like it's almost like, oh, one and done, gone.
It's not lasting at all.
No. However, like I said, it definitely is got some kick to it. This, you know, you're drinking this, as in the sense that when you take a sip of it, it doesn't just slip down. You get the flavor, and then it's done, and then you get this warmth in here.
Well, if I was going to get a drink for a king, I would want the king to know that he was drinking something, right? And he was having some experiences. Oh, the sweet. Oh, something different. Oh, right. This is, special is probably too big of a word, but this is pretty quality.
Yeah, this is very much a very, very good drink. Mm-hmm. It does have that sort of like, you know what, this is something special. Yep. We didn't just put this in the bottle just to freaking flog it for a couple dollars here and there.
Right.
We put this in there because we wanted to say, hey, look, this is a really good drink.
Yeah, this is another way to finish a whiskey, right? We're going to do it in those American bourbons perhaps at the beginning, and then we're going to add some woodiness that we're not picking up on, but probably is contributing to the flavors we're experiencing. And then we're going to use this, and I'll assume at least middle of the road, if not a higher end sherry. I'm not not knowledgeable about the Pedro Jimenez, but by them going to the name of the sherry of the red wine, it must be something.
Yeah, and I can't overstate this. I mean, you can smell that sweetness. I mean, you really can smell it.
No, right off the bat on the cork, you could smell it. No, there's zero question. And it really does taste quickly sweet. And then the next set of flavors, it's gone in the mouth, and it's just what you experience as it rolls down into your belly.
All right, I'm going to try a piece of ice in this to see what this does. And I got a funny feeling that this is going to change quite drastically.
I'm going to slip in just a splash of water that's been chilled.
But it definitely has you can see it roll around your glass.
Oh, there was some viscosity to it.
Yeah, it's hard to describe because you're very hard for you guys to see this, but you can see the difference in some of these where it just looks like liquid. Where this thing has some, like you said, it's really got some legs to it. You can see it go up and down the glass.
Yeah.
Okay, because then I always approach this first after you, and then you sort of slap me around. The ice sort of just mellowed out the drink. For me it was the ice. Yeah. Now it's not so much the sweetness on the very beginning, it's sort of in the middle now. It's sort of like balanced in between, like a seesaw, saying, hey, I'm right here, but here's this smoothness, like this, almost like this very smooth, maybe even velvet type of taste that starts off. Then I get this burst of sweetness, and then I just get this cooling sensation or the feeling that, okay, this drink is done as it goes down. And I don't get any of the heat like I did the first time round.
All right. And so maybe I'm gonna agree with you in the sense it's almost as if the flavors have been pushed back. Right?
The later starting points.
Exactly. And I'm with the cool water, which is similar to what you're experiencing, is that the very beginning is less of everything.
Yes.
And then the next step, it begins to arrive. And so it's been pushed back.
It's almost like
and
you get a
calmer,
prelude, and
right.
then it goes up, spikes a little bit, and then drops back down.
It's a much more calmer spike.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like if you would say, hey, which way are you going to drink this? If I wanted the full body for it, and obviously I think for the most part we're always going to say this, that going neat would be the way to go. Yeah. But if I was going to say, hey, look, we're going to drink this today, and we're going to finish this bottle today, I think I would do ice. Because the ice actually just makes it more of a mellow drink, and it's not so much as it's more palatable, but it's more palatable in the sense that you're not being attacked every time you take a sip. Mm-hmm. Now you're sort of being wined and dined, and then all of a sudden you're allowed to enjoy the drink and then go down and think, okay, now it's
right. So if you were having one drink after dinner, which this might actually be nice.
Yes.
Right. You probably would recommend neat.
Correct.
But if you were going to sit down on a warm summer day, sit
out
on the deck. Right, and enjoy a view or a breeze, you might go with the ice or some water, right, to relax the drink because you're sort of going to experience several of them.
It.
Right.
Yeah. But it's I like that. That's very, it's very pleasant. But it's very, like I said, you can tell it's a very rich, very...
Good word, rich, yeah.
Very rich drink.
Yeah.
but very nice, very, very straight to the point where it says, hey, look, this is what you're going to get. And knowing that it was from a sherry cask or wine, you knew, and then obviously from the smell, we knew it was going to be sweet.
Yeah.
But I would say like it wasn't sickly sweet. It was just going to be
No, it's not candied, right? And Glenmorangie is probably my favorite range. And not that doesn't necessarily mean Glenmorangie offers me my favorite bottle. But because their range is so many options, I feel like they really do offer, a full spectrum. And I'm always excited to have a glass of Glenmorangie.
So let's just, I'm going to put you on the spot, all right? So we talked about Glenfiddich and we said, okay, this is the telltale sign, boom, boom, boom. Mm-hmm. For Glenmorangie, what is the starting point for Glenmorangie for you?
Well, I'm not totally sure I understand the question, but what is it that
What's that base?
What do I think about? Like if that's a Glenmorangie, regardless of how the finish is, right? I think for me, a Glenfiddich has for its base flavor, probably an element of, it's sometimes you think of words and that word could be construed as a criticism.
Yep.
And so you want to be careful because it's not a criticism. So it can have an element of sharpness where you sort of know that's what you're drinking. And a Glenmorangie, for me, often has an element of smooth,
mellow,
really well-rounded. And one of the ways I feel confident in saying that is actually the original is the Glenmorangie that my wife enjoys because it's non-medicinal, it's very smooth, it doesn't have classic whiskey flavor connected to it. So it's a nice building block to absorb all the different flavors. And perhaps that's one of the reasons they can have such an expansive range.
The way I look at it, and this is me. What I find about the Glenmorangie, I find it's a very cultivated taste in the sense that they've brought this freaking, as you say, smoothness through. And for me, it's always been the smoothness and that sweet, in the sense that this is where I'm going to go with it. But it's almost like a journey that they just freaking ease you along and say, okay, and this is your end point right here. Mm-hmm. Whereas if we go to the Glenfiddich was just one of those ones where when you taste it, it hits you, it slaps you about a bit, and then you're sort of done. And it goes through, I feel, with most of it.
Well, that's why maybe I say the Glenfiddich maybe has a little bit more of sharpness to it. And that lets you know, regardless of which expression you're having, that's probably a Glenfiddich. Whereas the Glenmorangie range often has a little more rounding to it. Its foundational whiskey is pretty rounded. And from there on out, I think it can take a lot of flavors.
That's a damn good drink.
Yeah, I'm enjoying it. The truth is we have eliminated a bottle of this before. And it is a nice glass of whiskey.
That's a very easy going. So I think that sort of wraps up a good way to bring it to okay, we've just talked about the Glenmorangie.
Yep.
I think we can call it a day and try to mangle another cheers in a foreign language.
Yeah, another language. I was thinking Korean today.
Okay, Korean.
Yeah, and so the Korean have a phrase which means, and we say cheers a lot or I don't know, what do you say in America?
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay. And so, but the British say cheers, the Europeans, but in Korean, the translation would be empty glass. So,
Ganbye.